Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission is one of the most amazing author experts of a new book that we have coming out called Love Warriors, The Conscious Expert's Guide to Healing, Joy, and Manifestation. Rosalind Beresford, thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Laura, and thank you for allowing me to be part of this book. It's a really exciting book, I think. So
it feels like it's an exciting book. There's some big energy in this book, right? So you guys, let me tell you about Rosalind. She is a life coach and founder of Triskelion Transitions, where she helps clients transform that scared little voice in their heads into a chorus of empowerment. I love that. A chorus of empowerment.
Yes.
Rosalind.
Take it with you everywhere.
You're speaking my language, girl. That is awesome. So thank you so much for being willing to share your story in this book. And really, you guys, the authors are stepping up after their stories into some master teachings. And Rosalind is doing that as well. This book is full of awareness practices like yours, Rosalind, that will transform people's lives. Share a little bit about your chapter with us.
So my chapter is chapter 14, A Journey Through Codependence, Healing with Self-Love and Respect. And it really is just my story going from being a codependent spouse to being an independent woman who loves herself and has found real love in her life.
I was really happy that you decided to tackle this topic and kind of smiled in reading your chapter, because I was like, you go, girl. Like, you were vulnerable and you're just like laying it out there, for people to understand. Yeah, this is what this looks like. And if this is you,
Yeah.
like, we got some work to do here. So what else do you want to say about codependency that you think is important for people to understand?
Well, I don't know about other codependents, but I really struggled with that term because I felt like it's not my problem that he has an addiction. It's his problem. So how can being his problem make me wrong? It took me years and years to accept that that's exactly what I was. I enabled him. I subverted my own needs for his and for trying to not rock the boat. And it's really tough if you're a natural nurturer. A lot of women, especially, are natural nurturers. So becoming codependent is not that hard for us. I'm an Enneagram 6. I thought I was a 2, which is the helper, but I'm a 6, which is a loyalist, and it's very similar to the 2. They're often confused. And I think that loyalty and that nurturing in me made me stick around in a relationship that was eating me alive.
I'm glad that you brought that piece of enabling up, because you must have been reading my mind, because I immediately thought, oh, but those of us who are mothers are such enablers sometimes, and we build these relationships with our children that I think can be very codependent, but then it's out of this place of love and wanting to protect them and wanting to nurture them. We're the nurturers. How have you drawn the line? It's hard.
It is hard. It is really, really hard. And I think the key is to accepting the fact that you can still love the other person, love your children, and have your own boundaries. And because if you're not setting your own boundaries, you're actually not nurturing your own soul. You're only nurturing them. And then, that just opens up a whole nother can of worms, right? You're just constantly giving, and you can't keep doing that. You can't keep, eventually the unhappiness will just eat you alive, really. That's the way I felt. Yeah,
for sure. It'll feel like poison after a while.
Yeah.
And I think there's that whole thing with over giving to the point that you're done, you're depleted. I think I much rather give from an overflow.
Exactly.
and it feels like this place that I could keep giving from, but that other place that you're talking about, there's an end to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
I
Yeah.
know you felt it. I know I think probably all of us have felt that a little bit. So like, how
Hmm.
can we fill the cup and really focus on our own health and healing
Yeah.
so that we can give from that place? Um, yes. Okay. So I think we've been talking about what it means to be a love warrior. So like when I created this idea, I wanted part of that definition to be about showing up with that knowing that our vulnerability is our strength, right? So that was
Yeah.
one of the ways I defined it.
Mhm.
So, Rosalind, why are you a love warrior?
Well, I'm a love warrior because I learned to love myself, and I learned to recognize what real love is as opposed to what codependent love is. And they are very different things. I can still love the codependent without stop loving myself. And I had for the longest time, I had stopped loving myself. And so I really think a lot of women fall into that trap where they just give and give and give, and they forget to love themselves. They forget to love who's inside. And it becomes more about um, being the strong, you know, solver of problems as opposed to the nurture of one's own spirit and one's own mind and one's own soul.
So, you just said real love and codependent love. Can you help us? Like, what's the sign of the real love? So, self love, yes. What else?
So for me, I I found it, 5 years after I broke the codependency. I found someone who actually I didn't I would push a lot of people away because I didn't trust them to love me for who I was without expecting me to solve their problems, without expecting me to be there for them in every fiber of my being. So it's finding someone that you can move beside and grow together, but stay separate. Does that make sense?
It does. Oh my gosh, this is such a juicy topic. I want to talk about this one all the rest of the day. Repeat that one more time. I want everyone to really take a deep breath and understand how she's defining a real love. There's a togetherness and a separateness. Can you do it one more time for us?
Okay, so let me see if I can even remember
Yeah,
what I
I
just
know.
said.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
I
so
want to talk about that specific thing that you said, that you also have to stay separate. What was that
yes,
about for you?
yeah. So for me, it means that I can still pursue my own passions, my own goals. I can still do things that interest me without feeling like I'm threatening the relationship, because I've found somebody who's confident enough in themselves that they don't need me to complete them. And I don't need them to I am a complete person without that love. That love expands me and opens me to a lot of things, but I'm still complete without it. And I don't think I used to think that I was complete without that kind of love.
Yeah, I like this topic a lot. I think it's really going to help people kind of wake up to their thoughts and beliefs and behaviors inside of their own relationships, and really what that dynamic can be sometimes is very toxic.
Yes. Yeah.
And you don't feel the expansive energy of it when it starts to be toxic. It's the other thing. It's the contraction,
Right.
and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yes, thank you for talking about this. Okay, so obviously you guys, you can hear the wisdom here, and Rosalind, you're up to a lot of things besides writing this chapter. Tell us about your business and how you work with people, and what are you up to these days?
So right now I'm actually heading off to Korea tomorrow to visit my daughter
Wow.
for three
Oh,
weeks. So but while I'm there, I will be working with another coach who's based in New Zealand, and we have created a self-care for Caregivers course, and we will be recording it because we're in closer time zones. And that's going to be released in the new year. And that one, again, it's about honoring yourself and filling your own bucket before you give so much of yourself away that you can no longer help those that you love around you. So it's called Begin With Me, 7 Essential Self-Care Practices for the Caregiver. So I'm excited about that project. I'm also working with, I do a lot of collaborative work. I'm working with another coach in the States, and we're developing a goals course to put online. These are some evergreen things that we go on. And the individual coaching, I really do mostly pro bono coaching these days, one-to-one, which I absolutely love. So if people are interested in getting some pro bono coaching, they can apply on my website.
Nice. Oh my goodness, exciting with those programs that you're working on. And ooh, and your travel coming up. Eek,
Yeah.
that's a long trip, right?
It is, yeah.
Uh, all right. So one of the biggest missions I have with every Brave Healer production book is to help our readers live extraordinary lives. And no matter where you guys are on your journey, these books are going to help you answer this question: what else is possible? And sometimes I'll say, what else is possible for your healing, right? Specifically. So, Rosalind, what I want to know is, what's one simple stepping stone that you'd like to share with our listeners today that will help them start their journey? What do you want them to know?
I want them to learn to love themselves first before they continue depleting their energies, loving other people only. The one thing that I found that was the most powerful for me on that is the loving kindness meditation, where you send good thoughts to yourself. And that can be really hard for somebody who has spent their whole life um, loving other people more than they love themselves. And learning to love yourself is the first step to being able to have expansive love with your relationships.
That is really good advice. You're just making me want to revel in it for just a moment. Oh my gosh. All right, listeners. So, if something you heard Rosalind say today made you curious, you have a question, you need some support, whatever, our authors are very generously there for you guys. Please just scroll down to our show notes. You're going to be hooked up with her website, and reach out, if you need to. I think that that's one of the favorite things I think about with these books is it's a community of real people who genuinely want you to succeed in life and be happy. And Rosalind is one of those awesome people. So go do a little exploration, make a click on the site, check it out. Rosalind, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to spread the word.
Of course. Oh my goodness, that is my pleasure. So everyone, one of the big missions of the books is to give you the experts and the community you need for all these beautiful things you're up to live your amazing life. So you're invited to the Brave Healer Book Club group on Facebook. I've got a link down below for you. You can continue the amazing conversations that we start here on the YouTube channel with our authors. So please come visit us there. And join us for the live stream book launch party of Love Warriors. It's going to be in the new year, January 6th, on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page. We're going to have all of the Love Warriors authors there that day, sharing their wisdom and inspiring you. And of course, if you're listening anywhere around that date, you can hop over to Amazon and grab the copy of the book because it'll be ready for you. So lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. If you're ready to become one of the next Brave Healer Productions best-selling authors, it's time to be brave. Come and visit us at bravehealer.com. See you next time, everyone. Thank you, Rosalind.
Thank you, Laura.